everyone and welcome to CFC Fan TV. Now today's video isn't going to be the most pleasant. I certainly don't find it a happy one. Nobody would really, but I think it does need to be addressed. And although I thought it was sort of more or less something that I didn't need to continue after I already spoke about it briefly in another video, I do feel like with all the comments on Twitter at the moment from people, some people speaking out more than others on it, I think, I just need to address it and give my thoughts on it because it does upset me a little bit, upsets the boys as well, and we all come to agreement that I should do a video on it. And coming from somebody who is in a very multicultural family, I find a lot of it offensive, and that is all this talk about racism at the moment and Chelsea fans, and there are many that are coming out and saying more or less that that it's all Chelsea fans that are racist and solely putting the blame on us. Now I will say, for me, I don't accept any of the things that have been said. If they are, I think the guy in the front row in the City game with Sterling says he said mank and not the other word. Whether that's true or not, whatever it is, I just don't think you should be using abusive language of any form. But I see this from every team and every club. Not necessarily racist remarks all the time, but definitely abusive ones. Tottenham away, for instance, is one of the most. I get scared. I walked in quite late once. The last time we were at the Lane, this is before they had to move into their new stadium, and coins are being thrown, things are being thrown. There was abuse, hurling. There's a reason why the police have to separate us all. And actually, Chelsea fans walk in very peacefully and don't actually cause any trouble. Not from what I can see, anyway. From other away days, I know that doesn't have to happen. When we're at Arsenal, there's no segregation. When we are at Wolverhampton or Everton or wherever else, this sort of stuff doesn't happen. So in terms of the abusive side of things, that happens everywhere in loads of different games up and down the country, and that's something that probably does need to be addressed. At the end of the day, that's more violence and aggression, and that's a danger to all of us physically. So for me, that is something that's a huge problem, and definitely Chelsea fans can't be only blamed for that, because I've seen far worse, especially in the North London derbies, where I even get scared. So whenever I go to White Hart Lane, for instance, I always now walk in, after that incident, before that I was always walking in very early and either waiting to leave or walking the long way home. I remember once when I was walking home from, I think this is when I was 19, I think Torres got sent off. I don't correct me on that, but one of our players got sent off, and I was walking back and I was talking to my dad about it, and I was walking down, there's a long strip, isn't there, to get back to the tube station, so you have to walk to miles to get to White Hart Lane unless you get off at the overground, but I chose the tube. And I was talking to my dad on the phone, and I said, I think we would have won if so-and-so didn't get sent off. And I looked back, and there were two Tottenham fans behind me, and these are 40, 50-year-old men. And I looked back, and they sort of gave me a dirty look, so I said to my dad, I'll call you back when I'm home, because I got a bit scared, to be honest. And when I put down the phone, the Tottenham fans, these 40-year-old men, who, bear in mind, I'm only 19 at the time, said, you'll ring in when you're out of the hospital. And so that's the sort of thing that I don't think gets publicised. That's the sort of thing that I don't think, if anybody had heard anything, would have been done about it. I was a 19-year-old girl being threatened by some 2 40-year-old Tottenham fans, and I was very, very scared. But that's the sort of thing that I'm subjected to, and that others are subjected to all the time. And it's not ever reported. It's not something that's ever on TV. But when it comes to Chelsea, lo and behold, it's all over the news. So in terms of that is something that needs to be changed. And now onto the racist thing. Listen, I find it very offensive, especially when there are people on Twitter at the moment saying all Chelsea fans are racist, this and that. And that's not me condoning what was said, because I think it's absolutely horrendous. And anybody, I think if you look at the Tottenham Arsenal game when a banana was thrown on the pitch, there's not been half as much coverage on that. And I can't understand why, because that's just as bad, if not, no, there's nothing worse than worse, but it's all racism and it's all terrible. So I don't understand why that's just been more or less kicked to the curb. I haven't really heard anything else on that, and that's shocking to me, because that throwing a banana on the pitch is one of the worst things that you can do. It's degrading, it's wrong, it's awful. So for me, I don't understand it. And, I'm not racist. So when everybody says Chelsea fans are racist, I take that very personally. I take that very offensively. We're not all racist. My family aren't racist. My family are Indian. My first boyfriend was mixed race. My friends are from all different countries, colours, backgrounds. So I honestly don't don't understand how somebody can categorise it all as being, as us all being racist. It's just not the case, not true. It's very offensive. You know, we are very nice to everyone. And then again, there's something else come out when everybody was in Budapest that people were singing, racist chants, something like that. Now, Charlie and everyone are baffled because Charlie and Roy were there. They heard nothing of the kind. Everybody that I've spoken to is a bit baffled by it because they didn't hear anything, so I don't know where that's come out of. But again, I don't think that it's a good. I think people that say these things, people that are participating in these sorts of acts should be, I don't know, prosecuted, or they should be dealt with by the club. And I think the club do a very good job of doing that, if I'm being honest. They hand out bans to anyone who is disrespectful when it comes to somebody's race. And yeah, you know, the whole point here, the point of this video for me is just the fact that, like I said, I'm a very multicultural person, and I just don't like the fact that everyone's saying Chelsea fans are all racist. It's just not the case. We just aren't. Some of my family are Jewish. Sammy, didn't you say some of your family are Jewish? My cameraman's mum's side are Jewish. They're Chelsea fans. We are most certainly not racist or anti-Semitic. So I don't really understand how this can be said. So I would appreciate it if it was just the people that are saying these things that were held accountable, and it not being a broad term for all of us fans. It's just not the case. It's not true. I interview fans from all over the world every week, and that's, you know, everyone from all sorts of religions: Catholic, Muslim, Church of England, black, white, everyone. So I just don't. It really does not sit well with my spirit when people say these things, because we aren't all racist. And actually, you know, from going up and down the country, these chants, these things are happening in every club, everywhere. So although it's not reported like it is with Chelsea, I think more needs to be done in terms of that. So yeah, I just, you know, it's very sad at the moment. I think the idea is to, you know, kick racism out of football. That's the slogan they use, isn't it, for all their campaigning in this sort of thing. But it also takes away from all the very loving fans that are out there, and everyone that is just willing to be friends with everyone. You know, when we go on these European trips especially, it's full of everyone just getting along like a family, because that's what we are really. We're all there to support the same club, and there's just absolutely no need for it. You know, I have fans from all over the world coming to speak to me. Definitely when I first started the fan cams, you know, I had people on from all different countries, not just England. And it's great, you know, it's great to see that, you know, that's just, that we're not all, when it's, you know, this isn't something where it's like, okay, only this sort of person's allowed onto the channel, only this sort of person's allowed on. It's not the case, you know. So yeah, it's very sad at the moment, and I hope these things are resolved, but like I said, comment below and let me know what you think. You know, it's very offensive to me when people say that, because I'm just not a racist person, and I'm like I said, I'm very multicultural. So comment below and let me know your thoughts on this. And if you disagree with me, obviously let me know that too. But yeah, it's just a little bit upsetting at the moment, and I hope that these sorts of comments stop, because I think it's just offensive to everyone. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget, guys, we are now on Patreon. Ask Sophie Part 2 is live now, so please check that out. I've tried to answer as many of your questions, and yeah, there were some good ones this week. I had some very, very funny questions, and I think I'll give you a clue. Don't worry, I don't think I'll be manager of Manchester United anytime soon, but I really enjoyed your questions. So head over to Patreon now for more videos and more content.